Hey everybody, Tony D and Little Joan in the background with a screenwriter's rant on Take Back the Night. A very interesting movie from Dark Sky Films about a woman who's assaulted, but it turns out she's assaulted by a supernatural creature. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Please check out my books, links in the description. Comedy Horror in South Jersey, It's the Pineys, books 1 through 7, available at Amazon.com, and Kindle Unlimited is free. So this movie, it's very interesting framing. What it does is it takes a sexual assault, essentially what it is, the horror of going through that, and that's a horror. Let's all admit that. This woman goes out for the night, has a good time, and gets attacked in an alleyway. And but she wasn't attacked by a human. She was attacked by some sort of supernatural creature. And because all the tests come back weird. And this is a really interesting juxtaposition of taking something that is already frightening and then adding that supernatural element to it. So slowly but surely during the course of the movie, people believe her less and less. So she has to take out the monster herself. And it uses the framing of, it's really a metaphor for sexual assault, I think, to some extent. It's called Take Back the Night. And I think it's very interesting because it says 2021, but I think it's coming out now. It takes that framing of a sexual assault and women who aren't believed, and then it adds to it, which is already a horror show for that looks very much like the Law and Order set, doesn't it? It looks exactly like the Law and Order set. It takes the horror of not being believed. Her friend even says, "Listen, I'll back you up even if you lie, but just tell me if you're lying." She's like, "No, I'm not lying," and she has the humiliating experience of doing the rape kit, and they got to take all pictures of her body and all her wounds. So it already has, here she is getting a knife and she's going after the monster no matter what. But you already have a character that's vulnerable, and this is a positive for a horror movie framing in terms of screenwriting. So you already have a vulnerable, isolated character. The assault itself isolates her because no one else believes her. And so she's all alone in the world against the monster because only she, like a lot of monsters, only she is seeing it. It's going after her for whatever reason. So she keeps going back, I think, to the alley, and you only see glimpses of the monster. It's this weird thing with claws. And when it shows up, there are flies everywhere. So it's some kind of weird monster. I wonder if they tie it into an actual legend of some kind. Written by Emma Fitzpatrick and Gia Elliott, directed by Gia Elliott. Produced by Emma Fitzpatrick and also Gia Elliott. Oh, and David Elliott. So maybe her husband, I'm guessing. Starring Emma Fitzpatrick. Oh, okay, so that's the lead actress. Oh, wow, she's really doing all the heavy lifting. Co-written by, and starring and produced by Emma Fitzpatrick. So good on you, Emma. This looks like a fantastic concept, for a horror movie. It's gonna, and look, there's not a lot of horror movies that would resonate with women. I think this one would. Holy cow. Yeah. I think this would totally resonate with women. Women tend not to like horror movies in general, so I think, that may hurt it to some extent, but I think it's a great concept. I think it's really using something that's modern and new, and you're touching an exposed nerve there in society, really, and then adding the supernatural to it. Wow, good call. It's an urban kind of setting. First act the assault happens. I think it probably opens with her showing up at the hospital all messed up. Then the whole first act is like, you think it's a sexual assault, but then slowly, like, you know, she gets the questioning, and at first, from an audience perspective, you'd be like, oh, these cops, they're so, you know, but they have to be very clinical, and they have to know, you know, the facts of it, because there are people who get up to shenanigans for whatever reason, and there are women who are just embarrassed, and they do something stupid, and then they you know, there have been false claims, I'll say. So you're watching the movie, and you sympathize with her, because from an audience perspective, you know something happened to her. You believe her. She's the protagonist, and you know, you're privy to information that only she has, and so you believe her. So during the course, through the flashbacks, you begin to see that something weird happened, and she doesn't totally remember it, maybe in the first act. Then in the second act, her story starts to fall apart because of these supernatural elements, whatever they are. So maybe she goes back, and or maybe she's haunted by this creature, whatever it is. Maybe it attacks her again, and the audience doesn't, or not the audience, but the people around her stop believing her because it keeps happening, and she realizes she has to go kill the creature herself. She realizes that it's a supernatural creature, so she has to go and kill it. And her and her friend, maybe it attacks her friend, I don't know. But she realizes that only she can kill it. And then she does some research. Part of the movie is research. She notices other women who were attacked in the same exact way online, reported it. But all those women ended up dead. So like this creature has killed the creature tortured these women for a while before it killed them. So yeah, horrific, right? That's a horror movie. And then in the third act, she kills it. She probably kills it, or she thinks she kills it, and maybe, you know, this is the sort of movie you could bring back a creature like this, depending on, you know, how she kills it. Who knows what it is? It may be a new monster creature. You know, or maybe it's tied into something we already know. Maybe it's some kind of crazy vampire who lives in garbage and the flies come or whatever. Who knows? Who knows? It's called Take Back the Night. I love this concept. I think it's a really good premise. Unique, daring, ambitious. Horror fans, I think this is one not to miss. Do we have a date on this? Have a date? No, it doesn't look like we have a date on a release yet. So I would look for it in the next couple of months. Yeah, this is going to be a good one, I think. Take Back the Night. And that's it for me. Tony D. Little Joan. She's still in the background? No, she went to the couch. Check us out on Odysee, Bitchute, and Rumble. We have a Hollywoke hot take and a news blast. And we'll see you in the next one.